Alright guys, so we're back at this E39 again. We're going to go ahead and do a couple things here. We're going to reinstall the coil packs. We are going to, at that point in time, not put the fan back on. We're not going to put the fan shroud back on. We're going to just zip tie the bottle up and secure it. This will go take a test drive, and then when John comes and picks it up, he actually bought a new fan shroud for it. We don't need that to go around the block. A lot of you guys don't know that, and this is 100 outside. You don't need that at all. Basically, you have to make sure your electric fan is working. The electric fan will take care of the engine, but I don't recommend running without that. I'm just saying, if your fan explodes in the highway or doesn't work, whatever, you can drive it to get home. So that being said, I think we need to coil packs, we need to secure the bottle, we need to fill and bleed the system, we need to put the air box back on, and we need to cap off temporarily that port that was open on the back of the intake. And we'll be doing a catch can on this car, and that's pretty much it. So I guess we'll just put you on time lapse, and we'll go ahead and zip all this stuff back together. We'll set the cabin air filter back in, and we're pretty much ready. Our front seats aren't bolted down, but just for driving around the block, make sure we don't have any leaks, we should be good. Okay, so here we are. When we put all the coil packs back in, we put our 8mm nuts on this one, and then the wire for the harness here, and then the one in the middle right there. Doesn't really matter where you put them on. Obviously, this one only reached so far. The biggest key here is not to over torque all this stuff. Like these 8mm, you just want to snug them up. Same with these. You saw me put these on with the battery impact. I just ran down and it clicked once and I quit. You don't want to go any more than that. Overdoing stuff on a plastic valve cover is a sure way to get you in trouble. We just went back with our ratchet and just kind of ran all the valve cover bolts again before we put the coil packs in. Some of these are hard to get to. You can't get to them once you put the 8mm on top of them. So we just did that. It seems like these valve covers, after they sit for a day or so, after you put some miles on them, you almost always have to go back and retorque them a little bit. So hopefully it won't leak. It was all sealed with the ultra gray, and it should be good to go. I think at this point in time, we're going to have to put this air box back on. If not, any little smell will go right in the car. So let's go ahead and get all those tools picked up, all the tools off of here, all this stuff. You saw me also clean the coil packs, a little bit of brake parts cleaner, or you use carburetor cleaner and a microfiber, sprayed up in them, make sure all the oil is out of them, and make sure everything was nice and clean. All right, so here we are. We went full custom. Got our aluminum wire holding our bottle up. We got some aluminum wire down there. If you guys want to do this model, let me know. It's $2,000 to wire up your coolant bottle. None of this messing with you. We're just trying to get it to go around the block a little bit. We replaced the clamp up there. We took his little, well, not John didn't do it, the previous owner did it, full little custom brass fitting out of there, and we did a brand new little plastic screw with a brand new little O-ring on it. Works nicely. We already test fitted it. I think we're ready to go ahead and start filling coolant. Fill coolant, and then I'll snap that air box back on the very end, and we should be good. And we're going to get it at least to the 50-50 mix, maybe a little thicker since it's winter time out. And this is not your average green antifreeze, this is yellow. You can use whatever you want. This was what the going price is right now, what the place I buy it from on. Works exactly the same. No big deal. And we're just going to be keeping an eye on that thermostat hole. The car is off for right now. The heater is off, everything is off. We lost a lot of coolant, so it might take a little bit to get it to that point. Peek in there. Looks like we're not too far away. I can see it rising. Whoops, a little too fast. There we go. We're going to replace this guy by using a large straight screwdriver. We're just going to snug them up. Not too tight. Alright. I'm going to keep going until this one is full. And it looks like they're there. We're going to reinstall this guy. A big nasty rusty screwdriver, but you got to have that real giant fat tip on it to not strip out those screws. Okay, so now once we're at this point, we're gonna have to go start the car, which I'm thinking about that. We might have to charge the battery first. Let me investigate into that. Okay, so we just turned the heater on. That should actuate this pump. The car is still off. All right, and that's gonna pump through this hose up to here. It should be spraying out, but it's not spraying out. So that being said, we got one of the two problems, because the pump, you can put your hand on it, it is running and it's trying to pump, but it's not. So we either have a blockage right here or we have a blockage right there. And if you're gonna be ballsy enough to take that out, you better be prepared, because the chance of you breaking that is very, very, very good. But what we're gonna have to do before we can diagnose any of this is turn the key back off to turn that pump back off. No. Well, no, we're gonna have to figure it out. Okay, so we got figured out what's going on here. We pulled this clamp off. It is spraying out of this hose. We pulled the little plug off. We just turned the pump off. And if you can look down inside here, you can see it or not, you can see there's actually a little blockage right there in that little nipple. So let's pull this off and see if we can run something down in there to open it up. All right, I took a piece of our wire we used to tie this up, stuck it down through there, and look at this. Whoop, it's a piece of steel wool. Now, why would you focus? Why would you focus, camera? There you go, if you can see it or not. You can see a little metal in it. A piece of steel wool caught in there. That probably means somebody's using steel wool to clean, I don't know how they get in the coolant system. But at any rate, it's in there and it stopped it up. So we're gonna go and put this hose back on, and man, it took a lot to push that through. It's really jammed in there hardcore. That's why, guys, you cannot use stop leak on these cars. It will stop this up, it'll stop that up, it'll stop the heater valve up and run that, and you know, just kind of the way it is. So let's go ahead and hook it back up, turn the heater and everything back on, and we'll be back. All right, so it still wouldn't flow. Now it's flowing a little bit. It's about 80% there. It's actually flowing pretty good, but the water level's above it. We're gonna go ahead and start it up and see what's going on here. I think he bought a new bottle for it anyway, so nothing else. I think when he comes to pick it up, he's gonna bring us a new shroud, a new bottle. We'll snap it on her right before he leaves. So let's go ahead and start it up and finish filling it and see what we got. We are. He saw me. I forgot to put the cap on the port that was open. For right now, we just capped it off. We do have the catch can here for it, but for temporarily purposes, it looks like everything's running good. I'll try to shield the mic a little bit from the sound of the engine, and everything looks to be good. Everything sounds good. A little bit of rough idle from the get-go, but that was because the cap wasn't on it. As soon as I stuck it on there, that all stopped. And I don't see nothing dripping from the thermostat, nothing dripping from around the hoses. All that looks good. We did put a new O-ring in that guy, and then This side here, it looked fine. I mean, I don't know why one side's flat, one side's not, but we don't want to have any leaks, so we want to replace it. So yeah, let it warm up a little bit, check for leaks again, put our air box back in, and then we're ready to go take it for a drive. All right, we're on about 15 minutes and no problems. Go ahead and take a look down there, just what was on the ground before, nothing else dripping off and down the tubes. Everything's good down there, good there, good there. Nothing's wet down there. And we should be good. Nothing leaking around the cap, that was already there. Everything's good around the new screw. So we put the air box back in, we snap the fender wells back in. We need to put one bolt and get the top behind it yet, but we got the bottom all in there. We tucked the fog light plugs up for right now. And yeah, we're gonna go wait to put this on. I'm gonna take that with me to AutoZone after a while and get some pieces of hose for it. And that should be it. Let's go do your test drive. Okay, so looks like we did pretty good. There is a little liquid around the cap there. I don't know if it's just stuck up underneath there or what. I mean, everything seemed like it was good. Nothing's dripping anywhere. Nothing's dripping as of this minute. So probably was the case. Got a little oil seeping right there. It's not leaking. It was just sitting in that little pool back there and it ran out. We get a little bit of that whenever we do the banjo fitting and mess with it, and it kind of runs all over the place. But we'll carburetor clean that off real good. And I think at this point we did forget to put our oxygen sensor back in the holder, so we'll let it cool off. We'll go ahead and put all that back in and check it once it cools off. Check all the fluids again, make sure it's good, and then we'll probably do one more test run a little longer. But there's no leakage on the manifold at all from the valve cover. All that looks great. Can't really say we have much of a problem. We did notice the idle is dipping down just a little bit. Like when you come to stop, it'll dip down and come back up. We'll probably, he gave me a fair warning about this DISA. Then you go ahead and check it. It has a little resemblance of a vacuum leak, so that could be that. We'll go ahead and investigate into that. It almost sounded like an ICV. He said he cleaned it and said it was all good. ICV will do that a little bit if there's a little bit of a problem, but overall it's not bad. I mean, the problem is very minor. I don't know if it did that before or not because I never drove before, so I really don't know. But that's it, guys. That's all for today's video. We'll be back later. If we find a problem with the disc, we'll definitely put a short video up of that, and we'll go ahead and get the end result. When he's here, we'll pull out the camera. We'll get everything all 100% done up. And one thing we do need to do is check the AC. It's really cold today. It's less than 40 degrees, real windy. Today's not going to be a good day to do that, but tomorrow we're down to the last few tidbits. You come tomorrow and pick this thing up. And when I get up in the morning, we'll sort out the little tiny stuff with it. That's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.